Hello, in this episode, we're going to look at the applications of solving quadratic equations, especially in trigonometry. And here we have 4 examples prepared for this episode. For example, the first one, when we're solving for x, right? And we know that this is if the left-hand side is equals to 0, and we're trying to solve for x. And to solve this equation, we could temporarily introduce u as cosine x. As a result, this given equation will turn into 2 times u plus 2 times u squared. And this is a quadratic equation, right? And we can factor this by getting 2u multiply 1 plus u equals to 0. And we know how to solve this quadratic equation. And after being factored, so we get u 2 times u equals 0, or 1 plus u equals to 0. And in the end, we will get u equals to 0, or u equals to -1. And then afterwards, and we can take cosine u back to the place. So we have two cases. We're going to solve this equation, and and we're going to solve the other equation, which is cosine x equals to -1. And this is something you are going to learn in trigonometry. So we're gonna just skip the rest of the steps for you guys to solve these equations in trigonometry. The second example we have here is that we also have a equation like that, but if we still introduce u equals to cosine x, we will end up with 2 times u squared. 2 times u squared. Minus u minus 1 equals to 0. And this is a quadratic equation again. And we can factor using the techniques we factored. Okay, so right here, we're getting 2 times u plus 1, 2 times u plus 1, and multiply u minus 1. We can use the techniques we talk about in factoring, and we get 0. And you can always check. Let's check 2 times u times 2u times u, that's 2u squared, 2u minus 2u times -1, and 1u, and -1 times +1, that's a -1. So this will be the right factors. So we get 2u equals to 2u plus 1 equals to 0, or u minus 1 equals to 0. And then we'll get 2 values for u. One is -12, and the other one would be u equals to +1. And then we can proceed to solve the trigonometric trig equations, which you're going to learn in trigonometry, Math 170. All right, 2 more examples. Okay, so in this case, you can introduce u equals to sine x, and then you end up with an equation with an intermediate variable u in place, and that's going to be 2 times u squared and minus 3u plus 1. And factor, we got 2u minus 1 multiply u minus 1.
那水已经开了。
equals to 0. So let's check if we got the factors. 2u squared minus 2u minus u plus 1. Okay, the factors are right. So 2u minus 1 equals 0. Or u minus 1 equals to 0. And in the end, we will get u equals to half or u equals to 1. U equals 1. And if we bring back the value, the sine x in the place of u, and then we end up solving these two equations, which you are going to learn in trigonometry. Sine x equals to 1. Okay, so you're gonna proceed to solve the trig equations, which you're gonna learn in your trigonometry class. The last example we have here, of course, solving these quadratic equations, you can use any method you want. You can use formula, factoring, completing a square. And in this example, in example number 4, once again, we can introduce u equals to sine x, and we will have 4 times u squared, u squared minus 4u plus 1 equals to 0. And factored, we will have 2 times u minus 1 squared equals to 0. So, and this will lead us to 2u minus 1 must be 0, because a number time itself is 0. This number has to be 0. In the end, we get u equals to half. Okay, and then we'll proceed to solve this trig equation, which is sine of x equals to 1/2. So then we can proceed to solve the trig equations. And here, of course, we have only one equation. And so these are the applications of solving quadratic equations in trigonometry. Thank you for watching.